So far, you've been able to tell that your code is working properly by simply running it and seeing the results. When things don't work the way you expect them to, however, it is helpful to be able to get a closer look at what is going wrong. Breakpoints let you pause your code and examine the current state of the application. To begin this lesson, open the C# test sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the code behind file of default.aspx. Now you're going to add a breakpoint to the calendar select selection changed event handler. Click on the line of code in the event handler that sets label output's text property. Now right-click on the code and click Breakpoint, Insert Breakpoint. The line is highlighted in red, and a red circle appears in the bar to the left. This indicates that a breakpoint is present. Note that you can quickly add and remove breakpoints by clicking in the grey bar where the breakpoint indicator circles appear. If you click the breakpoint indicator circle, the breakpoint will be removed. And you can click again in the bar to bring it back. Next, you're going to use the breakpoint to pause your code while it is running and inspect its properties. So far, you've been able to test your pages either by starting debugging or by right-clicking on them in the Solution Explorer and clicking View in Browser from the shortcut menu. At this point, an important difference between the two emerges. If you choose View in Browser from the Solution Explorer, Visual Studio won't process your breakpoints. For breakpoints to work properly, you must always use Debug mode by clicking Debug Start Debugging or by clicking the Play button on the top toolbar. Start debugging now. Now click on a date in the calendar, and you should be automatically brought back to Visual Studio. Occasionally, as you can see here, this doesn't work properly. If this happens, just switch back to Visual Studio manually. You can see now that the line you added a breakpoint to is highlighted in yellow. Your web application is now paused at this point. Now let's check the current value of the label output controls text property. You can quickly check the current values of properties by simply hovering your mouse cursor over them. Hover your cursor over the .text part of label output.text. You can see that the current value of label output.text is Hello World. Now let's view the rest of the properties of the label output control. By hovering your mouse cursor over label output itself and expanding the categories by clicking the plus symbols, you can see the rest of the label output control's properties. Although it's useful to see the values of properties at your breakpoint, it's even more useful to be able to step through your code line by line and see what is affected. Click Debug, Step Over. Now the next line of code is highlighted in yellow, and a small yellow arrow appears in the bar to the left. You have now stepped through the previous line and onto this one. Because you stepped through the previous line, it will have updated the label output control's text property. Now check the text property of the label output control again. Just as you did before, move your mouse cursor over .text in the label output .text code. As you can see, the property has been updated by the previous line of code. Now click Debug, Continue. You are returned to your web browser, and the site continues running as normal. Note that you can also continue running by clicking the Play button on the top toolbar. You'll also see pause, stop, and restart icons, which allow you to pause, stop, and restart debugging, and 3 icons which correspond to step into, step over, and step out. The difference between these isn't obvious at the moment, but will make more sense in session 6. For now, you only need to use step over. Close your web browser now, and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 3.3. Use breakpoints.